A 16-year-old kid from a garage in California built a company worth $200 million. Wall Street loved him. Oprah put him on TV. He was called the next Bill Gates. There was just one problem. His entire company was fake. Every single dollar of it. In 1982, in a quiet suburb of Los Angeles called Reseda, a 15-year-old named Barry Minkow started a carpet cleaning business from his parents' garage. He called it ZZZZ Best. The name was ridiculous. The operation was even more so. One teenager, one steam cleaner, and a beat-up van. He would go door to door, offering to clean carpets for $20 or $30 a job. But Barry Minkow had a problem that most 15-year-olds don't have. He was desperate for cash. Not because of drugs or gambling. Because he wanted to grow his business. He wanted more vans, more equipment, more employees. Banks wouldn't lend to a teenager. So Barry found other ways. He started forging money orders at his local bank. When that wasn't enough, he moved on to credit card fraud. He'd steal card numbers and charge them for carpet cleaning jobs that never happened. When even that wasn't enough, he started borrowing money from local organized crime figures. Loan sharks. The kind of people who break things when you don't pay them back. And here's the thing. It worked. Not the carpet cleaning. The con. Barry Minkow discovered at 15 years old that he had an extraordinary talent for making people believe things that weren't true. By the time he was 17, ZZZZ Best had multiple locations. On paper, it was booming. In reality, every dollar of revenue was either fabricated or stolen. But nobody checked. Nobody questioned why a teenager's carpet cleaning company was growing faster than any business in the San Fernando Valley. Then Barry had his masterstroke. He invented an entirely new division of ZZZZ Best. Insurance restoration. This is a real industry. When a building suffers fire or flood damage, insurance companies hire firms to come in and do the cleanup and restoration. The contracts are enormous. We're talking hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars per job. Barry created fake insurance restoration contracts. Dozens of them. He forged paperwork showing that ZZZZ Best had been awarded massive cleanup jobs all across Southern California. He created fake invoices, fake progress reports, fake everything. On paper, this division was generating tens of millions of dollars in revenue. In reality, not a single one of these contracts existed. Every document was fabricated. Every client was fictional. Every dollar was imaginary. But Barry didn't stop at fake paperwork. He created fake reality itself. When investors or bankers wanted to tour one of these restoration sites, Barry would scramble. He would find an actual building that was under renovation somewhere in Los Angeles. He would pay the owners to let him use the building for a few hours. He'd bring in his own workers. He'd set up cleaning equipment as props. He'd print fake ZZZZ Best banners and hang them on the walls. Investors would show up in their suits. They would walk through the building. They would see workers in ZZZZ Best uniforms moving equipment around. They would nod approvingly and write bigger checks. They never realized they were walking through a movie set. By 1986, ZZZZ Best went public on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. Barry Minkow was 21 years old. He became the youngest person in American history to take a company public. The stock soared from its initial offering price. Within months, the company had a market capitalization of over $200 million. Barry was buying a mansion in Westwood. He drove a red Ferrari. He wore custom suits. Oprah Winfrey invited him on her show. He sat on national television and told America about his incredible journey from a garage in Reseda to Wall Street. Business magazines put him on their covers. The Los Angeles Times profiled him as a visionary entrepreneur. College professors used him as a case study in their business classes. He was 21 years old, and the entire country believed he was the next great American success story. Wall Street analysts praised his company's growth trajectory. Investment banks competed to underwrite his next stock offering. Ernst & Whinney, one of the most prestigious accounting firms on the planet, the kind of firm that Fortune 500 companies trust with their books, audited ZZZZ Best's finances and signed off. "Everything checks out," they said. "The numbers are real." But here's the question that nobody in the entire financial system bothered to ask. How does a carpet cleaning company from a suburban garage generate hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue? The answer was obvious. It doesn't. It can't. The numbers were physically impossible. But when a stock is rising and everyone is making money, nobody wants to be the person who asks uncomfortable questions. Except one person did ask. A journalist named Daniel Axt, working for a small newspaper in Los Angeles. Not the Wall Street Journal. Not the Financial Times. Not Bloomberg. A local reporter with a notebook and a telephone. He started making calls. Simple, basic journalism calls. He called the insurance companies that were supposedly paying ZZZZ Best millions of dollars for restoration work. They had never heard of ZZZZ Best. They had no record of any contracts. He looked up the addresses of supposed restoration job sites. Some of the addresses were empty lots. Others were residential homes. One was a parking garage. Axt published his findings. Wall Street's reaction was immediate and predictable. They ignored him. A small-time reporter from a local paper questioning a $200 million public company. Please. He must be wrong. He must have an agenda. The stock barely moved. But the FBI had been watching Barry Minkow for a different reason entirely. They had received tips about his early credit card fraud. The kind of street-level crime that was beneath Wall Street's attention but very much within the FBI's jurisdiction. And once federal investigators started pulling the same threads that Daniel Axt had been pulling, the whole thing unraveled. The insurance contracts were fake. The restoration sites were staged. The revenue was fictional. The company that Wall Street valued at $200 million was worth essentially nothing. In July 1987, ZZZZ Best stock collapsed. The company filed for bankruptcy. Thousands of investors, many of them ordinary people who had put their retirement savings into this miracle stock, lost everything. Barry Minkow was arrested and charged with 57 counts of fraud, money laundering, and racketeering. He was just 22 years old. In 1989, Barry Minkow was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison and ordered to pay $26 million in restitution. It was one of the largest fraud convictions in American history at the time. But this is where the story takes a turn that nobody could have predicted. In prison, Barry Minkow found religion. He became a born-again Christian. He studied theology. He earned a college degree behind bars. He became a model prisoner. And when he was released after serving about 7.5 years, he didn't go back to crime. He went to church. Barry Minkow became a pastor. He founded the Community Bible Church in San Diego. He stood at the pulpit every Sunday and preached about redemption, about the dangers of greed, about how God had transformed his life. His congregation loved him. They saw in him proof that anyone could change. That even the most notorious con artist in America could find a higher purpose. And then Barry did something that shocked the financial world. He became a fraud investigator. He started an organization called the Fraud Discovery Institute. Using his intimate knowledge of how financial scams work, the tricks, the fake paperwork, the psychological manipulation, he began investigating companies that he suspected were committing fraud. And he was terrifyingly good at it. Because who better to catch a con artist than a con artist? His biggest target was Lennar Corporation, one of the largest homebuilders in America. Minkow identified what he claimed was $1 billion accounting fraud inside the company. He published detailed reports. He presented evidence to the SEC. He briefed FBI agents. Financial journalists covered his allegations extensively. The stock dropped. Regulators launched investigations. The convicted con man turned pastor turned fraud investigator was being taken seriously by the most powerful financial institutions in the world. Hollywood was interested in his story. Publishers wanted the book rights. It was, by every measure, the most extraordinary redemption arc in American criminal history. Except it wasn't a redemption at all. It was Act 3 of the same con. In 2011, federal investigators discovered that Barry Minkow had been stealing from his own congregation. For years, he had been manipulating the church's finances, embezzling donations, and using church funds for personal expenses. The man who preached about honesty and integrity every single Sunday morning was robbing the collection plate every Monday. And it got worse. Much worse. Investigators discovered that Barry's crusade against Lenner Corporation wasn't entirely motivated by a desire for justice. Barry had been working with short sellers. These are investors who bet that a company's stock price will fall. Barry would identify a target company, publish damaging reports through his Fraud Discovery Institute, and his short-selling partners would profit when the stock dropped. Barry got a cut. He wasn't exposing fraud. He was manufacturing market panic for profit. The exact same skill set he had used to inflate ZZZZ best stock price, he was now using in reverse, to destroy other companies' stock prices. In 2014, Barry Minkow was sentenced to 5 additional years in federal prison. The pastor, the fraud investigator, the redeemed American success story, was revealed to be exactly what he had always been. A 16-year-old kid from a garage in Reseda who discovered something about human nature. That if you tell people what they want to hear, if you give them the story they're desperate to believe, they will ignore every red flag, skip every basic check, and hand you their money. Barry Minkow figured that out at 15. And 40 years later, he still hadn't found a reason to stop.